Now, some civil society organizations that kicked against the Agyapa Mineral Royalties Agreement and forced government to abandon it say they are hopeful government would revise its approach when it represents the deal. Key amongst the expectations is that government will get the buy-in of citizens. President Akufo-Addo, in his State of the Nation address, told Parliament the transaction will be tabled again for consideration. Dr. Steve Mantiao, a member of the Civil Society Alliance Against Agyapa, in his assessment of why the deal stalled the first time, explained government wasn't proactive when its engagement of public and other key stakeholders. JoyNews editor Olai engaged Dr. Mantiao and another member of the CSO Alliance, Nafi Chinri, of the Natural Resource Governance Institute at a Star Ghana Foundation workshop here in Accra.
You find that some of the promises that the government has made in terms of value addition opportunities are not supported by the Mineral Income Investment Fund Act. For instance, government has said that they are going to invest some of the proceeds in value addition, that is gold refinery and all that. In the same breath, under the stability provisions of the Minerals Income Investment Fund Act, the government says that when the act comes into force, it shall be bound to take mineral royalty in the form it has always taken it, which is in cash. So which means you're not going to have even access to the raw material gold to add value to it. So all these things put together amounts to a certain breach of faith. For want of a better word, I would say breach of faith, because I was tempted to say deceit of the citizenry, which undermines public trust and faith in what government is attempting to do.
Right, and talking about this same trust, you also indicated that there was a lack of trust as a result of the way the issue of Agyapa came into the public domain.
Exactly, because the whole thing came into the public domain as a result of disagreement between the minority and the majority party. Government hadn't been proactive as it was at the time when we were enacting the Petroleum Revenue Management Act, where government went out of its way to hold regional consultations with the people. And then this culminated in the national conversation and a consensus, which was reflected in the final bill that became the law. And so when it came to implementation, we had no resistance. On this occasion, government did not do any consultations at all. It attempted to use its majority in Parliament to bulldoze its way through Parliament and get all the approvals it needed to be able to execute the deal. And therefore, under this principal-agent relationship, the citizens had no option than to rise up and speak out against the attempt by government to use these numbers to get this deal through.
Now, Nafi Chinri, you belong to the Civil Society Alliance Against Agyapa. A lot has been said, and you have made requests on government to provide information. As far as the Agyapa agreement is concerned, a lot has been said over the period. Would you now say that you have the information that you require?
The President had hinted that he is going to present Agyapa back to Parliament. We don't know in what form, whether it's been reviewed. We don't have that information and we don't have that document. I think the President and the entire country has a fine opportunity, particularly the President and the Ministry of Finance, to engage all interested parties, particularly the civil society group that raised a number of concerns in 3 media encounters, to have a conversation around the issues. We need to know whether issues that were raised have actually been factored into a restructured Agyapa that will be going back to Parliament. And if there are gaps, we can have another conversation to review and make proposal on what will be best for the country. So I think that at this moment, we haven't seen what will be sent to Parliament. And I think that in terms of strategy, it's not good to rush to Parliament without actually having a conversation with the public. Let's build consensus on what will be sent to Parliament before it goes to Parliament. That way you can guarantee that you can have some smoothness in terms of approval of the conversation. But at this particular moment,
You're watching News Desk with me, Bernice Abubeidulansa. We'll bring you business news right after these messages.